Hello, Whistleout family. Today I am talking about hotspots versus Wi-Fi. Can you live off a hotspot? Are hotspots necessary? We're gonna go over comparing speeds on your home Wi-Fi broadband to hotspot speeds and how those differ and why that's important. So if that's interesting to you and you need more info on hotspots, then this is the video for you. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'm Sherry Riggs. This is Whistleout TV. So in this video today, I'm going to be answering a few questions like, what is a hotspot? Why do hotspots matter? Can I use a hotspot for my normal internet? And a few other important questions that tend to come up when we're talking about internet and cell phone plans. So without further delay, let us get started. Let's jump right into it. Now, quickly, I'll address my little set. I recently moved and my actual studio set is not quite set up yet, so I'm kind of improvising with this background here. It won't be like this forever, but this is what we're gonna do for now. So as you can see, kind of got my website pulled up here, whistleout.com. We are talking hotspots. So first, what is a hotspot? There are a few different types of hotspots. There are mobile hotspots and personal hotspots. Today I'm talking about a personal cell phone hotspot. You can turn it on your phone, and then your phone becomes an actual network that other devices can connect to. Now, there are other things called mobile hotspots. They're kind of like little bricks. You can slide in a SIM card and you can carry it around with you, and then that becomes a mobile hotspot. There are very specific cell phone plans for those, but we are only talking the hotspot that comes already pre-built into most modern cell phones. So how does a hotspot work? Well, here's the basic gist of it for you. You go into your settings, you turn on your hotspot, you create a name for your network, you create a password for your network, then other devices can connect to your device's hotspot. And basically, I have AT&T, so how that would work is I turn on my hotspot from my cell phone, and AT&T signal comes out of it, and I can connect my laptop, my TV, my smart speakers to it, and it essentially becomes its own individual network. So the next question that kind of comes along with what is a hotspot is, well, why would I need it? Well, there are a few reasons why. I use my hotspot when my home internet is acting up and I cannot get a good signal. Normally my hotspot has a really steady current signal that I can do video calls on from my laptop. I can watch TV or YouTube videos if needed, and I can connect my speakers to them if I really want to stream music or anything along those lines. You also might want to use your hotspot if you're in public and don't want to connect to a public Wi-Fi. You can just connect to your own personal hotspot, and it's a little bit safer and makes you a little bit more comfortable to do that. And those are just a few reasons why you might be using a hotspot. Some people use hotspots as their actual internet because they might live in a place where there's not great options for home internet, or satellite is the only option, and satellite is way expensive in some cases. So those are just a handful of reasons why you might be looking for a cell phone plan with a hotspot. Now, if you've used a hotspot before, you're just looking for more information, or this video ends up helping you, click below, give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow, and turn on those notifications because every little bit helps. And oh my screen just went out. And we're back. Okay, that's right. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate all the help. So now let's dive into more info about hotspots. Are hotspots fast enough? Do they give you enough speed to get the tasks accomplished that you need to be accomplished, finished? You know what I'm trying to say. Do you get enough data? Do you get enough speed with hotspots? Well, it depends on the carrier that you have. Sometimes carriers limit hotspot speeds, sometimes they don't. So let's go over a few carriers and their speeds right now, shall we? I'm gonna go over some MVNOs and then their correlating main carrier. So let's start with Visible Mobile. Visible Mobile offers an unlimited hotspot, although they cap their speeds at 5 megabits per second, 5 Mbps. Kind of slow, but you can get enough done with it. You can scroll the internet just fine. You can stream SD just fine, but don't get any ideas in your head about streaming HD. You can't do that with 5 Mbps. Now with Verizon, it depends on their plan, but for the most part, Verizon does not cap their hotspot speeds. AT&T has no cap either. Cricket, some of their plans have data speed caps at 8 Mbps, and it would make sense that their hotspots would have that as well. So just keep that in mind. With T-Mobile, their Essentials plan caps it at 600 kbps, which is less than Cricket and less than Visible. That is really slow. It's 3G speeds. Other than that, T-Mobile's plans don't cap their hotspot speeds. And lastly, we're gonna look at Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile does not cap their hotspot speeds. So just keep that in mind when you're looking through hotspot plans, which carriers cap their hotspot speeds and which don't. So now that we know a little bit more about the generics of hotspots, how they work, what they are, what you can do with them. Let's kind of go over how long a hotspot will last you. How much data do you need? And how long a hotspot lasts really depends on how much hotspot data you are allotted each month. Some plans give you a set amount of data to use for a hotspot. Some plans only give you what is allotted to you in your general overarching data supply. So it really just depends, but to give you a good look at what you might need and how much you'll use up, I'm gonna go over a few daily tasks and kind of show you how much data those use, and we'll go from there. So to demonstrate this, I have our website pulled up behind me. I'm screen sharing on my cell phone to my TV so we can kind of go over this together. And I'm gonna be zooming in and hopefully you guys can see this back here. That is the goal. So let's go for it, okay? So how much hotspot data does generic web browsing use? In an hour, 60 megabits, which is very, very minimal. You can work every day on a hotspot and just be doing generic web scrolling, chatting with your coworkers, doing really basic tasks on the internet. You could do that every month for just a handful of gigabytes and you would be just fine there. What really eats up your streaming or your hotspot data are streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, even Instagram and TikTok. Those use about 1 gigabit an hour. So you're gonna be using up a lot of data. If you're streaming all day, every day, or even gaming, that will use up the most data out of all of the other tasks you could be doing, like scrolling Facebook or just checking your email. Those streaming video of any kind will eat up a lot of data. Streaming in 4K or HD is gonna eat up even more than a gigabit an hour or gigabyte an hour. So just keep that in mind as you're going through your hotspot. But if you're gonna be streaming 8 hours a day, that's 8 gigabytes that you used up. If you only have 15 gigabytes to use a month on your hotspot, streaming might not be the best idea to use your hotspot for that purpose. Now, before we move on from this, let's talk about one other task that I do every day and that many of us do every day. That is talking on Zoom or video chatting. Now that uses, let me zoom in on here. We can see on the screen, we got Zoom right here. Zoom high quality group call. For a half hour, that's 405 megabits. And then if we're looking for a whole hour, that's almost a gigabyte of data. So any video that you're using with your hotspot, any streaming, and even streaming music uses up quite a bit too. Just keep that in mind with your hotspot. That's gonna eat it up a lot. So how much hotspot do you actually need? Well, if you find that you yourself are a heavy data user each month, I use above 30 gigabytes of data each month. So if you find yourself using a lot of data, then you probably will find yourself in need of a hotspot every once in a while. For me, I use a hotspot a few times a month, like I said, if my internet's acting up or if I go work remotely at a coffee shop or something and I don't want to log into their Wi-Fi, I use my own hotspot. My AT&T Elite hotspot gives me 30 gigabytes of hotspot each month. That is a lot. I never use 30 gigabytes. I can't imagine many people use 30 gigabytes unless you're using it for your own home personal internet. If you're not using it for that, if you just use a hotspot every once in a while, all you might need is 5 to 10 gigabytes. I think that would be just fine. But it all depends. If you need to know how much internet you need, I have a great video about that over here in one of these corners. In one of these corners, I have a great video about how much data you need to sufficiently have a good cell phone plan and have good coverage and good service. So that video will help you determine how much of a hotspot you need as well. Okay, we've gone over a ton of hotspot information. Now I'm gonna do a fun test. We are going to use my hotspots to connect to my laptop, and then we're gonna use my hotspots to connect to my TV, and we're gonna test those speeds out. So here, those are for you. Okay, so right now I'm going to be doing a really simple hotspot speed test to see how my connection compares to my home Wi-Fi, and then how it compares to my mobile phone's hotspot. So let's check it out. Right now I am still on my home Wi-Fi. So let's check out the speed test here. Now my speeds that I pay for at home are 500 Mbps up, or excuse me, 500 Mbps down and 10 up. So right now, my speeds are a little rough. I only got 56 down and it's about 3 up right now. So I'm gonna do one more speed test to kind of see if that number will grow, because sometimes it just depends on the timing. The speed test isn't that great. Yeah, now we're up to 150 almost. So getting 150, 180, 190, 200, There we go. So these are great home internet speeds. 200 down, and we're looking at 7.6 up-ish. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to turn on my hotspot, which is really quick on iPhones. You just have to go to settings, then you go to personal hotspot, and then click allow others to join. So then what I'm gonna do is go into my network up here and look for Sherry's iPhone. That's what my network is called. Here we go. And I'm gonna wait until we're connected. Up in the top corner, it says you are connected. So now I'm gonna test again and see how my speeds compare. Well, currently we're around 0 Mbps down. So this test is not going great for a hotspot. Let's try it again. We're gonna cancel out and retry. There we go. Just took a little bit to get a hold of it. We're looking at 50, almost 60 Mbps down. Not bad. Remember, that was what my first speed was when I did my first test on my home Wi-Fi. And now we're looking at 25 up. That's crazy. That's more than double what I got with my home Wi-Fi. That is incredibly impressive. And just because I tested the home Wi-Fi twice, we're gonna test the hotspot twice. So we're gonna see what it busts out. 30 down. Not shabby. This is not bad at all, considering some carriers cap their hotspot speeds to 5 Mbps. We're looking at nearly 30 on this second test. That's incredible. And the upload speeds are not as impressive this time around, but I don't expect myself to get 20 Mbps upload every time. So we got 26 down and 5 up. Now, this has been a quick test for you guys. Let's test out some more things, huh? Okay, we are here with a second, not really a speed test, but a connection test. I can't really totally test my speed on a smart TV. I don't have like actual access to like search speed test on this TV on like a normal internet browser, but we're just gonna open one of my apps that I like to use a lot and try and test out a portion of a show that I really like to watch. So basically we're gonna open Hulu and we're gonna watch Survivor. Well, I'm not really gonna record me watching Survivor because that would be like copyright stuff, but I'm gonna tell you how my experience was watching Survivor using my hotspot from my iPhone 12 Pro and AT&T. So let's get to it. I guess the first thing I need to do is connect my TV to my hotspot network, which is gonna take a second, so I'm gonna pause this and we'll come back when it's connected. Actually, I just found a cool function on my TV where it allows me to test the connection. So I don't think you can really see it, but it's right over here. And I'm gonna try it one more time to see what our speeds are like using my home network, and then we'll switch to my cell phone. So let's see what it is one more time. We're gonna retest the connection. It says connection method is wireless, signal strength is full, and our download is 12,558 kbs. I'm gonna have to see what that is. 12,558 kbs. I can't, in my brain I cannot do the math to make that into Mbps, so let's see what it is. It's 12 Mbps down. 12.5 Mbps down, okay. Math is not my strong point. So let's retest it one more time and see how it goes. Now we're at 14.2 Mbps down using my home network. That is more than enough speed to stream, although I do get caught up sometimes. Sometimes it buffers briefly, but for the most part I have a pretty steady connection. And now I'm officially actually gonna switch networks and then retest the signal strength. Okay, I officially have my TV hooked up to my phone hotspot. You can see it's Sherry's iPhone for my network connection right here. Maybe you can't, I'll zoom in later. And then right now I'm just gonna test the connection and see what we get. So before we got 12 Mbps and 14 Mbps down with my normal home internet. So let's just check and see what this hotspot speed is. Testing the connection right now. It is 6,000 kbps, which is 6 Mbps down. Not great, not horrible. Since we've been doing 2 test connections with every other device, we're gonna do a second connection here to see if it changes. And it went down to 5 Mbps. And the third one just for fun, and it went down to 1.5 Mbps. We're gonna go one more time. 6 Mbps again. Okay, so we're ranging from 1 to 6 megabits per second here, which is enough to stream, but maybe not in high quality. It's just gonna have to be SD quality. But yeah, that gives you an idea of how a hotspot works over a computer and over a TV. If I was going to connect it to a smart speaker, I would be able to stream just fine any music or be able to use a personal assistant in that way. But now I'm gonna watch a little bit of TV and see how it does buffering. I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm gonna let this play in the background a little bit while I'm talking so you can kind of get a picture of how the connection is working. From here, it's a little bit grainy. It's not crystal clear. However, that might be because the show I'm watching was filmed in 2008. But it doesn't have any buffering, no lag. It is streaming perfectly fine, just maybe not as clear as it could be. And we're getting about 6 Mbps down, so not shabby at all. Now here's a word of caution if you are planning on using a hotspot to stream from your TV. Just know that it will eat up your hotspot allotment much more quickly than, say, connecting to just a smart speaker or connecting to a laptop. Streaming uses about a gig an hour, conservatively up to 2 potentially, depending on if you're streaming in HD or SD or 4K, whatever it may be, that uses more data. So just be aware if you don't have an unlimited hotspot or you only have a certain amount of high-speed priority data to use, then you might be running through it pretty quickly, but otherwise you're good to go and stream from your hotspot on your smart TV. Now finally, let's talk about how to turn on your hotspot. This is really easy, especially for iPhone users. If you have an iPhone, just go into your settings. It should be on that main page when you open your settings, click into hotspot, and then just click turn on hotspot. A very similar process with Android phones. Most Android phones, go into your settings, look for that hotspot, and then just flip it on. Super easy. If you need a little bit more help, honestly, it's really easy to Google that for your phone model and it will pop up immediately. But otherwise, yeah, just go into your settings, turn on your hotspot, and you're good to go. If this video helped you out at all, let me know in the comments below. What do you want to hear about next? I'd love to help you. I'd love to chat some more about hotspots or anything like that. I'm Sherry Riggs. Thanks for watching Whistleout TV.